when you were at school, particularly thinking about secondary school, what was that like for you? How did you find being at secondary school?
I mean, I enjoyed school, but there was always my absence, my attendance wasn't great at school, and I think that came from me not like really um, enjoying particular subjects, and not really what I did enjoy. Like I did enjoy like chemistry and biology, but the teachers, I remember the teachers not really like pushing me or uh, giving me any support where I needed it in school, with especially in regards to science, because well, I remember like in year 8, and I said to one of my science teachers, "Oh, I want to be a vet," and he kind of just dismissed it and was like, "Oh, I don't think you're clever enough to be a vet, but you might be a vet's assistant one day."
Wow.
And so stuff like that, like teachers weren't very supportive of like what I wanted to do. So I didn't always, I wasn't always very like, my attendance at school wasn't very good until I got to college. And when I got to college is when I like really started to apply myself, because it was something that I really wanted to do.
Moving on to kind of, I guess, the end of secondary school in year 11. So what were the kind of decisions you were thinking about at the time, about, even if you know at that point, where you wanted to go and study at post 16, and potentially what you wanted to study as well?
So like at that stage, I was looking at trying to do something. I knew that A levels weren't probably for me, because I wanted something a bit more hands-on, and A levels is very like academic, it's very focused on theory. But I was looking at like different BTECs to do, and at that time I was looking at doing apprenticeships as well in animal care. We had like a careers advisor, if you like, at school, and she was just going through different like areas which I could potentially get an apprenticeship in at the time. And then really and truly it was like by chance I came across doing the level 3 animal management course. I was just, I had typed some like animal care courses into Google, and that just had come up.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, that really caught my attention, and that's like really all I wanted to do after that. But yeah, when I was leaving school, it was just I really wanted to work in animal care, and I did want to work in veterinary, but I wasn't too sure if I would be able to do it, just because what I've been told by career advisors and teachers and stuff like that.
Spoken a bit about your experience of being at secondary school and not necessarily having the kind of right influence behind you or motivation by the kind of the adults that are around you. So going back on your kind of younger self, what advice would you give your younger self?
I think I would say, if someone's telling you not to pursue something because you're not clever enough, to not listen to them, because if you're passionate about it, go for it. Because I think I did definitely let teachers sometimes influence my decisions at school, because they were saying, oh, you're not clever enough to do this, why don't you try this? But I think definitely if you're passionate about something, go research it, and there'll probably always be a way for you to get your foot in the door somewhere along the line.
Yeah, that's a really good point about, you may not feel like you're able to go in at the same level as some people, but actually, like I said, there are lots of different ways and pathways of getting in. This video is going out to students who are studied on a college course, which is very similar to the one that you were doing. So speaking kind of to our current students now, and they're obviously studying on a similar pathway, what advice would you give them to help them with their future career or their future choices when it comes to, like going on to university?
I would say definitely get like work experience. I know like a lot of people doing the animal management, they have to do work experience as part of the course. But definitely if you're going to do work experience, get like a variety work experience, because then it'll help you narrow down what you maybe want to do. Because sometimes you go onto these courses not knowing exactly where you want to go. By doing lots of like different placements, it kind of helps you say, oh no, that's not for me, but this might be for me. So definitely like doing plenty of like work experience at different places. I would also say if you are thinking about university, look at like doing summer schools and stuff like that. I did a summer school with RVC. I think the year I applied. It was the summer before I applied, and I really enjoyed that. And it kind of gave me an insight into what the course would be like, and what studying at the university would be like. So, and I know a lot of universities offer summer schools, and generally a lot of them might be free. So definitely, like, if there is a university interested in, go on their website, have a look, or even just call admissions and find out and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. And then I think, again, if you're looking to apply for a particular university, you might not know, but there's a section on the UCAS application where it says, have you completed any sort of activity with universities previously? And you can kind of put that information in there to say, yes, for example, I went on to a summer school.
I would also say, like, if you want to go to university but you think, oh, I think it's going to be a big jump, a lot of degrees offer foundation years or foundation degrees where then you can top it up to get like a bachelor's. Just like me, like I did a gateway year, which is essentially a foundation year, and that kind of helped me lay the foundations for when I actually started the 5-year veterinary medicine course. Because I think with BTEC, sometimes your scientific knowledge might not, it's not as in the scientific area of BTEC is not as intense as A level. So going on to like the first year for a degree might be very daunting. So doing a foundation can help you slowly get into that kind of subject, and it really helped me with like some of my scientific knowledge, definitely.
Yeah, again, that's kind of going back to your point of saying there's lots of different routes and options and pathways into these types of courses. You know, it's not just a case of, you may look at the entry requirements for a course and think, oh, I don't meet them. But actually, if you get in contact with the university or do some more researching on their website or look at different universities, there's lots of different ways, like foundation years, that are useful to bring you up to that level so that you can start. And you can get, I imagine you've got student finance for that. There was no kind of issues with that?
No, it was completely, it was fine. It was just, it counted as like a year zero, if you like. That's what it was on my student finance application anyway. But I had no issues with funding.